the City of Lowell License Commission. Was the meeting posted?
Yes.
All right. First on the agenda.
Commission will now take up matters to do with special one-day license applications for malt beverages and wine only, or either one. First is an application by Lisa J. Durkee Abbott for Saturday, April 6, 2013, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The event is a benefit concert reception for refugees from Mali. The proceeds to benefit the work of Relief International, and the location of the event is Mill Number 5 at 250 Jackson Street. Application by Corey Belanger of CB Enterprises, Inc. for Friday, February 8th, 2013, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. The event is the Microbrew Challenge at Winterfest 2013. The location for the event is the Jeanne d'Arc Credit Union parking lot at 1 Tremont Place near the Sanger Center. And it is a request to waive the license fee for the fact that there are proceeds to benefit the City of Lowell Winterfest 2013. Third application is by Sean Siros of the Lowell Firefighters Association for an event Sunday, April 21st, 2013, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The event is the Lowell Firefighters Road Race, and the beer concession would be at a fence-enclosed area outside the club premises located at 362, 364 Fletcher Street, which is at the corner of William Cross Streets. And applications from Thomas McKay of Backstage Concessions, Inc. for events pertaining to the Winterfest. The venue is Arcan Drive. The tent is known as Club Celsius, the Nordic nightclub, for Friday evening, February 8th, 2013, from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight. Also for Saturday, February 9th, from 12 noon to 12 midnight. And a third application by Backstage Concession, Thomas McKay, is the Jeanne d'Arc Credit Union parking lot at 1 Tremont Place. There being an enclosed tent for Club Fahrenheit, a sponsors tent, which will be Saturday evening, February 9th, from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight.
Would you introduce yourself for the record?
Lisa Durkee Abbott.
Okay. Next.
Corey Belanger, Major's Pub.
Sean Soroyce, Lowell Fire Road Race.
Carol Walls, Backstage Concessions.
Okay. Lisa, have you had a license before?
I never have, no.
Okay. I know the other three have. Just going to go over a couple of ground rules. One, the license is in your name. It's not in the entity that you represent. It's in your individual name. So you have complete control over the license. Make sure that you have the Lowell Police Department on your cell phone, not the 911, but the Lowell number. Additionally, just make sure that the license is posted.
Posted on the outside of the building?
Just somewhere inside so it's visible. And now, what are you going to have? What's your event?
It starts off with a VIP reception, and that's for about 150 people on the 4th floor of the building. The concert continues after that, and on the 5th floor, at which the beer and wine would be sold, actually, with proceeds, again, going to Relief International.
Okay, and who is going to be serving the beer and wine?
I just today got the confirmation from a friend who is tip certified bartender, and he has 3 people likewise tip certified.
Great.
Yeah. I have a question for you, if I may.
Yes?
I've talked with my insurer about getting insurance for the day.
Yes.
And I wonder if the city requires any particular level of coverage. Or if
Ryan, is there any level of coverage the city requires for a one-day license? No requirement. Okay.
Good to know.
And Corey, what is the event?
It is, Mr. Chairman, the Friday night of Winterfest. It's our second year, actually. The previous year was in not the Smith Baker, next to Cobblestones, the Masonic Temple. It was held in there last year. This year it's going to be Friday night of Winterfest, 7 to 10 p.m. It's basically a tasting where a participant pays a $25 fee, gets 15 2-ounce samples. You can't exceed 2 ounces by law during a tasting. And there will be food concessions there too, which is states by law during a tasting as well. And like I said, a participant will get 15 samples to try any variety they would like during their stay.
Great. Okay. Sean, how long have you been doing this race?
This is going to be my 8th year,
Okay, and you've run it all 8 years?
every year, yeah.
Okay, and we've had no issues?
I've never had an issue.
All right. And Kira, can you? It's for the Winterfest?
This is my 3rd year doing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have some experienced applicants here. I don't have any problems with any license. Any comments, questions? No? All right, I'll take a motion. Right, just say it nice and loud in the microphone.
Make a motion to pass.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Good luck, guys.
Can I ask by way of procedure what I do next? Because I haven't paid a fee yet, or,
I'll be in touch with you.
thank you very much. Nice to see you.
Just started and already we're having an event for them.
Commission now take up applications for all alcoholic beverages, special one day, filed by Fernando Souza of the Holy Ghost Society for events at Holy Ghost Park, 65 Village Street, for Saturday, February 9th, from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. is for Carnival. Also Sunday, February 10th, 2013, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., a Carnival. Friday, February 15th, from 5 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. is Valentine's Dinner. Saturday, February 23rd, from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., Brazilian Night. And last is Saturday, March 9th, 2013, from 5 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. is the Night Lager.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Fernando Sousa, President of Holy Ghost.
Fernando, you're the president, you said?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and how long have you been on a board member?
I've been on the board for 3 years.
Okay, and you've come before us many times, correct?
Yes,
All right, have we had any issues with you?
never.
No, okay. Well, let's keep it that way. Any questions, concerns?
No questions?
So what is Noite Lages?
Noche Lages is a, it's a gala for the island called Terceira, the 3rd island from the Azores. It is, the ambassador from the islands will be coming to the States. It's a tradition like a gathering to raise funds to development on the island for those who are needed.
Okey doke.
Thank you.
Someone can make a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, Fernando.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda,
May have had a chance to look at the application for change of manager for the Division of Events. Commission now take up an application filed by the licensee, the Polish American Veterans of Lowell, Inc., the all-alcoholic beverage club licensee at 201 Coburn Street. Request is for a change of manager of record, from Paul Kozalski Jr. to Stephen G. Craig of Drake, Mass.
introduce yourself for the record.
Stephen Craig, from Commander, Polish American Veterans of Lowell.
Okay. Mr. Craig, have you ever managed a liquor establishment before?
I've worked at several of them. I've taken Boston bartenders, and I also have had a tips. I'm just redoing it now.
Okay. Are you a member of the club?
Yes, I am. I've been a member for about 20 years.
20 years. How many members are there of the Polish American Veterans Club?
Actual members, there is probably 160, but we also have card key members that would probably go into about maybe five or 600.
Okay. If I wanted to get into the club, how would I get in?
There's a button, you push, the bartender sees you, pushes the button in, you have to sign the logbook, and at that point, you're in the club.
Same thing with guests?
Yes,
Okay. So everyone signs in?
yes.
Okay. I have no questions.
Now, it seems like you have extensive experience, so.
Yes, plus I was a supervisor at Raytheon for 45 years, so.
Any questions? No? All right. I'll take a motion.
Second?
I move we accept it.
All right. Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Just got to be approved by the ABCC.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep, good luck.
Fred's Fuel.
Here's the original. I don't want you to lose that.
Oh.
Commission will now take up the matter of an application for a secondhand motor vehicles license, used car dealer, Class 2. License applicant is Fred's Fuel Inc., Farid H. Gia, President, and Patrick Nasser, Treasurer, to do business as The Right Price, premises at 479 Broadway. Some years ago, 2001, actually, special permit had been granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the condition on that special permit is that that be not more than 4 vehicles, cars for sale at one time, and a specific area for occupancy for the, where those vehicles were to be placed, is outlined in a proposed plan.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Good evening. Farid Jaha. I'm from Fred's Fuel on 459 Broadway Street. Patrick, introduce yourself.
I'm Patrick Nassar. I'm partner treasurer with Farid Jaha.
We're trying to help the business, my business. I don't want to really go out of business. This is my first year in that gas station. I've been closed for 5 years. So I'm trying to do like a side business. So when the business will go down, I'll be having like some small income. So I'll stay, you know, on my feet so I can pay the rent, pay the taxes, pay the fees and all those stuff. I think I really need it. It's not gonna be my main business. My main business is repair and gas, but as I said, I would love to have it as a side business, so it will help me to keep my business running and not close down. Thank you.
So the main business is a gas station.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how many pumps do you have?
2.
2 pumps? Okay. Do you have a store?
Yes, sir.
What's in the store?
Cigarette rack and then coolers. We usually like the main purpose of the store, I just made it like for a space so people they can wait for the garage. So while they're fixing their cars, so they can wait, so they can have coffee. The store doesn't sell that much. The store is not making that much of sale at all. You know?
And you have a garage that can repair 2 cars?
Yes, I do.
2 bays? Okay. Have you ever been involved in the sale of secondhand motor vehicles?
Yes, sir.
When?
A couple years ago in Malden, Greenleaf Auto.
Okay. And you're aware of the rules and regulations of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Registry of Motor Vehicles, and the City of Lowell License Commission?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Where do you intend to get your vehicles?
From customers, you know, and from auctions.
All right, because, you know, the one thing that we don't want to give you a license, then you sell a lemon to somebody, and then they're coming back looking at us why we gave you a license. You got to make sure that you're fully aware of the rules and regulations
I'll promise you
of the
that.
Commonwealth.
I'll promise you that I'll behave the rules of Lowell and City of Lowell, and I don't want to really like, you know, make it like a big deal, but I'm just trying to get it, as I said, so I can help myself. I don't want to go out of business like the people that they had this station 5 and 6 and 7 years ago. They couldn't open it for more than a year and a half.
Who's going to be selling the vehicles? Are you going to employ salesmen, or is it just going to be you and Patrick, or
It's
who's
going to
be?
be me and Patrick.
Okay, and you're going to be on premises? What are your hours going to be, proposed hours?
For the car,
For the sales, yeah.
For the sales, it's gonna be from 8 a.m. and to 5 p.m.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
And you're aware there's only gonna be 4 cars? That's the maximum amount of vehicles that can be sold at one time on the lot?
Yes.
Are you the mechanic, or do you have someone else employed that works on the vehicles?
I have a mechanic who works on vehicle.
Okay.
Any questions? No. All right, I'll take a motion. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Good luck.
Thank you.
Be in touch.
Thanks a lot.
Ryan, there's some other stuff in there, I just don't want you to.
This is already a pawnbroker place.
Is it? Yeah. What is it? It's. It's gonna expire, so yeah, it must be what it is.
Commission will now take up the matter to do with an application for a pawnbroker license and also an application for license for old gold, silver, and platinum. The applicants are a partnership, Chang Koi and Mira Adela Som, to do business as Complete Jewelry and Loans. The premises being at 183 East Merrimack Street. The licensee presently at that location is the sole proprietor, Mira Adela Som, doing business presently as Complete Jewelry and Design. Her licenses are due to expire April 30th, 2013. She presently has a bond as a pawnbroker in her name. It's required that a pawnbroker who being licensed must have a bond of at least $3,000.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Hi, my name is Mara Sam. I'm the owner, and I would like to have a partner as a co-owner to help me manage the business.
Okay. And your name?
Chang Koi from Lowell.
Okay, Sharon. Mara, how long have you been in business?
Since June of 2011, I've been having the license since a little bit before, but our operations really started in June 2011.
Captain Webb, if we had any issues with,
No, Ms. Som has been in full compliance with the regulations and has been cooperative with the detectives.
okay. And,
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Coy? Yes. Are you aware of the rules and regulations of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the City of Lowell relative to secondhand articles, pawnbroking?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're gonna follow Ms. Som's lead in being compliant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
No questions?
I notice it's from May 1 to April 30th. This is, we wouldn't just reissue a whole new license from this point forward for a year?
Well, being the fact that the license period begins May 1 and ends the following April, any licenses granted and approved for the partnership presently I would expect would be granted and expired April 30th of this year. Then they would file the renewal effective May 1 for the 12-month period thereafter. And then the question then is where Ms. Som had paid the license fees for the 12-month period. Normally, you wouldn't prorate such a license fee. It's not generally prorated. It's a full fee is paid, even if the license period was to come to an end sooner than later, if you will. So whether the commission would want to even consider waiving a fee if they should grant such a license for the several months remaining to the partnership. I'm not suggesting it, but in any event, that's.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
it's just copies for you if you want to take a look at it.
Next on the agenda?
With respect to review of revised rules and regulations of the Lowell License Commission, possible questions that the board may have, or with respect to the regulations as the city manager, superintendent of police, the law office through the city solicitor, and the council endorsed, originate back in March of 2012. Now brought back before the License Commission for their consideration at this time. This is just a matter for discussion, if you will. For anyone who thinks that there may be a hearing on the regulations as far as possible hearing and then subsequent vote, it's not scheduled for this evening.
Okay. Madam Solicitor, as we were handed some regulations this evening, could you just explain what these are?
There's a couple of changes to the regulations, and Elliot will walk you through what these new additions are.
Good evening, Commissioners. The Law Department has taken a look at the revisions to the rules and regulations, and we did what is essentially a new draft of combining both the old regulations and the new regulations into this one for the licensed commissioners to consider. The two specific additions that the Law Department has added is, I bring the commissioners' attentions to sections 119. The Law Department took a look at the definition in regards to suspension, revocation, or modification of a license, and taking a look at other municipalities, including Boston's license commission regulations, we expanded the definition to be more in keeping with the authority that the License Commission has to take a holistic view regarding actions or misbehavior of a licensed establishment, and what actions the License Commission can review and essentially enforce. Specifically, the additions were from the first sentence beyond. Addition, I bring the Commissioner's attentions to sections 8.02. This is in response to some inquiries that art gallery establishments have had in the city of Lowell that they've directed to the management of the city. The situation that has been arising is that art galleries have wanted to provide light refreshment, generally wine or champagne, to patrons as they browse art galleries during special events. The dilemma is that there wasn't a real provision to reflect the kind of activity that they wanted to do, specifically not the sale of alcohol through a general special license, but more the provision of free light refreshment. The city made inquiries with other municipalities throughout the Commonwealth in regards to what their license commission's stance would be in terms of whether or not they required a special license. And we found that many municipalities don't really have a set standard. Some municipalities simply turn a blind eye, allow the art galleries to do what they will. Other license commissions have a set of rules for art galleries and museums, but they don't enforce it. And the concern with the city administration is that these art gallery establishments, even if it's only an ancillary service, is still providing alcohol to patrons. And we feel that such an activity should be regulated. So Section 8.02 would add a special requirement that would allow art galleries and museums to be certified by the Office of Cultural Affairs and Special Events. They would then be allowed to apply for a special one-day license at a reduced rate for a certain amount of times in a year. The suggested fee would be, say, $10 to $15. And the special requirements would make it clear to the art galleries that all other provisions of the special one-day licenses would remain in effect, so that they would not be allowed to buy alcohol from, say, a supermarket, which has been noted to have occurred in other municipalities. So it's a way of giving some flexibility to these art galleries to allow for the ancillary minor provision of alcohol during these special events, while still maintaining regulations and control by the License Commission, and ensuring that it's not a sort of a shadow activity that these art galleries are doing, and that it's out in the open.
Does the 30 times a year provision still apply in this case?
That would be up to the License Commission. The original idea that we proposed was that the art gallery would have 12 events where they would be allowed to apply for the special license at the reduced fee, and that if they would have more events beyond that number, then the standard special license fee would apply, and the number. So it was a way of providing some flexibility while maintaining the overall regulatory scheme allowed under the special license provisions under 8.01.
Well, just by way of background, last February, this is for everyone and the two new commissioners, we were presented with rules and regulations from the City of Lowell Law Department that they had drafted without any input from the License Commission. And the License Commission promulgates all rules and regulations for licensed establishments. Because of that, we had extensive hearings. We met on May 11th for over 2.5 hours. This is all 2012. May 17th for an hour and a half. June 7th for an hour and a half. June 19th for an hour and a half, to go over line by line the regulations that were presented to us by the City of Lowell. Present at those meetings were the 3 sitting license commissioners and the superintendent of police and the city solicitor. It was an extensive process, and it's unfortunately when we went to vote on them, it didn't go forward. But I think the best thing to do is to work off the revised regulations. We can, I think that's where the base should start. I don't think we should use what was just presented to us by the city. I do believe we can incorporate those sections and go through, but I would make a motion that we work off the regulations that were drafted and presented for hearing, believe it was July 19th. I would make a motion that we work off of those regulations, and at the next meeting, we can incorporate any changes that either the law department, the commissioners, et cetera, may have. Madam Solicitor.
Sure. Just a couple of things on that, I guess. The regulations that were drafted by the law department, as well as with input from the police department, and actually we had met with you while you were a member of the License Commission, not as the chair. As far as reverting to the amended regulations, there were, at least speaking for the law department, changes that were made that today, I guess I would, as I did several times as we went through the process, renew my many objections to many of the changes that were suggested by the commission at the time, and I guess would ask that if we were going to review the regulations, that the regulations that are reviewed by the License Commission are in fact the regulations that were drafted by the law department, the police department, and were presented to the city council and not the amended version. And I don't know if the police department has anything to add to that, but that would at least be the position of the law department.
Mr. Chairman, I spoke to the superintendent this afternoon, and he asked me to convey his wishes that any regulations be the first set of regulations that were sent over by the law department with his input. His feeling is that he would like the opportunity to speak with the new commissioners about those regulations and not have them go forward on something that they weren't here for.
Right. And again, my motion is not that we take those regulations as gospel, but my motion would be that those are the regulations that we work off. That draft is the one that we work off going forward. I believe that, you know, it was a lot of time and effort spent drafting those, and to just receive a new draft tonight, you know, this has been building for, you know, I mean, we voted on them in July. It is now the last day of January, and we received these tonight. I think we should work off the old draft, so I'll make a motion to that effect.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Wanted some discussion before we voted.
Well, I just made a motion and was seconded, and I called for a vote.
Okay.
Okay. Aye.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Did you vote?
Nay.
Nay. Okay.
All right. I mean, I have the same concern about seeing the new version tonight. I had been working off of both the one that had been worked on by the chairman and his two associates in the middle of last year, and working off the 8 November. For instance, in the 8 November one, there was a section on, now I've misplaced it here, cover charge. So I looked at 210, which is 210 here, and I didn't see cover charge. So in a way, I'm not sure how these two from the law department, granted a couple months apart, how they match. So I got to match them up, which means, in my mind, that I need to get them issued to me in a form that I can play with on my computer.
If I may, Commissioner, my apologies for interrupting. I do have a red line draft which indicates the changes. My goal when formulating the additions was to integrate both drafts in a way that would reflect both the License Commission and the input from the city as well. I do have a red line draft which indicates the revisions line by line from the revised version, including the additions to sections 1.19 and so forth, and the reintegration of the special conditions. If the License Commission would like, I can provide copies of those line items if it would be easier for you to compare the two documents so you can see that the changes and integrations.
But like we just voted to go forward using that amended version that is online at the city website that was proposed on July 19th. We can still go over all the issues. We can still go through, but that draft is what I think we should work on, and that's what we voted to do.
Certainly.
So you can incorporate those changes in a red line version on that draft. I just want to start with that base. I think that's the proper way to go about it, and that's what we voted on. Madam Solicitor, did you have something?
No, I was just going to add that as far as the changes, there were no substantive changes that were handed to you tonight. We gave you the same draft that we had given the commission back in November. As far as the changes that Attorney Veloso had gone over, during that time, since we had forwarded the draft in November to the License Commission, the city had continued to work on an issue that he had described with respect to these gallery events, and we thought it would be appropriate to fold that in. That's been an ongoing process, and that's essentially the only change aside from an expansion of the definition.
Well,
from the draft that you received in November.
Okay.
And again, that's the same draft that you received originally, and the new draft that we'll be working off of, we can certainly work off of it, but I will note that the changes are quite substantive, and much of what was put in with, between the police department and the law department for review has been taken out. So we can work off of this draft, but I guess at the same time, we would ask that we also be working off of the original draft so that we can see the language that was deleted, which again, I think constitutes substantive changes.
Well, I think one of the issues is, one of the big changes to the rules and regulations that we proposed was having staggered filing fees relative to the time of closing. And that's not in what you just handed me. So that was a substantive change that is just absent from this document, and we spent a lot of time going over that. So that's why I think we should work off the other document that had a lot of time and effort put, and I'm not saying that this didn't have time and effort put into it, but we had hearings, we had a gallery full of residents and business owners that came and spoke relative to the regular. Believe me, I'm not saying that those are the regulations that are set in stone. I just think that we wait, I don't want to waste 7.5 hours of, although these two commissioners weren't here, you were here, the superintendent of police was here, Captain Webb was here. I just think that had changes. And if we go through and you guys want to add, the city of Lowell thinks we should add stuff, the police department thinks we should add stuff, the two commissioners thinks we should add stuff, the public thinks we should, that's fine. Or take stuff away. I just would feel more comfortable working off the other draft, and that's the way we voted. So I guess.
Yeah, I'd like to say that for me, because I'm new at this,
Yeah.
for me, it's going to be important to understand the line-in, line-outs, and the whys. And so I think that we need to make an effort to make that information available. We need to make the documents presented searchable so that I can go back and forth and compare without having to go back and read word for word through a number of paragraphs.
Well, I think the draft that we have voted to work off was on the City of Lowell website in a red line version that showed what were the original proposed and then what was amended. And it was a red line version. I believe it's in 2 columns, and it goes right down throughout the whole document. So we can see from the original version what was there and then what was now. Now, it may not have the reason why it was changed, but we can go through each item if we have to. I just feel more comfortable if we've made a bunch of changes. Why throw them out and start over? I think I've made that point clear. I think I've said it about 4 times. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I agree. And actually, what we had done at the beginning of this process is we had started with the rules and regulations that had been on file. I don't know when they had last been amended. And we had converted those into a Word document. And when we forwarded those to the commissioners and then made available through the public on the website, we tracked those changes from the existing regulations so that anyone looking at them could see what additions and what changes, what language was being retained and what language was being added to. And we can certainly make available, if you don't have it already, Word versions of these documents. We'll make sure that that those are available to you and to the rest of the commission, so that you can, as you were saying, perhaps track in your own computer and make changes to them. In fact, that's how many of the changes to our draft took place, because it was sent to the commissioners in a Word document.
And the other, because the other version, just so it had a table of contents.
Yes.
I think it was easier to review than this. But go right ahead.
So, just for clarification for me, as far as the people out there working in the city, selling and buying liquor, we're still working off of the original rules, or are we working off of the rules as they were revised and as we will revise again?
The original regulations.
The original regulations, okay.
I guess I don't know how you two feel, but I guess my thought was that, well, now that we've received these from the law department, we can take that version that we agreed to work off of and incorporate these changes, or go through and see what they want to add or subtract. And then I think maybe the next meeting, we could take it up on February 14th. Take up all of those,
14th, 7th?
14th, right, 14th? Yeah. Take up the, you know, crafting the documents, and if we can do it all in one night, we can have a hearing on them the following meeting. If we can't, then we'll continue it from there. But I think that's probably a good course of action.
And
Sounds good.
if I may, Mr. Chairman, what the law department can do is we'll provide you with copies step by step as to the changes and the integrations as well.
Great. Great, yeah, it's just hard when this is, you know, it's been hanging out there in limbo since last February, and then, you know, the night of the meeting, we get this. That's what frustrates me, is that if we could have got this even a week before, we could have got over it and seen what the changes are. It's not something that's just occurred in the last 24 hours.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I guess I'll make a motion that we take up the regulations at the next meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Thank you. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now review licenses, review of licensees that filed 2013 renewal applications in November 2012, but have not complied with Massachusetts laws that require certificate of inspection to be issued and certificate of liquor liability insurance to be issued, in order that the annual liquor license be issued. The following license renewals are affected. Renewal application filed, Lowell Sports Club, Inc., 490 Central Street. WK Investments, LLC, 201 Cabot Street. TR Enterprises, Inc., 135 Central Street. Brazilian Tropic, Inc., 26 Andover Street. Bannacan at 74 Middlesex Street. In addition, there's communication from Bannacan regarding 74 Middlesex Street, received January 28th, 2013. And a communication from Michael Breda of Jambra Board regarding 74 Middlesex Street, received January 28th, 2013. If I may just update with respect to TR Enterprises, Inc., 135 Central Street. In the last day, 2 days, one of the principal owners, manager of record, Ray Serrano, has been in contact with the License Commission office. I've spoken with him. He will have access to the premises, I'm told. Apparently, federal agency took control over the premises in recent weeks, and it may be accessible to him, if not tomorrow, soon thereafter. He has already filed a certificate of liquor liability insurance, takes effect today for 1 year. He's also has his health inspection approval from December of last year. He anticipates being able to complete the requirements that were necessary, or apparently he believes he has met the requirements necessary to get his certificate of inspection, and he hopes to have inspectors or an inspector from the Office of Developmental Services on the premises in short order, so he can get that certificate, and a copy of which, therefore, it would be in compliance and action of the office and the License Commission ratification to issue that license for TR Enterprises, Inc. In the very near future. Brazilian Tropic, Inc., the owner has been in contact, Kayla Calvallo. She has no interest in taking the license. She apparently has financial problems and issues that are beyond her control. She may be attempting to try to rent the space, but as far as taking the license for 2013, she has no desire to do so. I anticipate getting something from her in writing in the very near future. I had something yesterday, but I asked for it to be notarized, and she was not able to get back to me today on that. Vanna Can at 74 Middlesex Street, appears that he's just about ready to open the restaurant, bar, lounge, club, if you will. I know the people from the Jamba Board, representatives of the neighborhood, have some anxiety about what they can anticipate with the opening. And I know the commission has some similar feelings as well. So if I may just suggest to the board at this point, with respect to the two licenses that the commission may need to take a formal vote to revoke the license, would be for Lowell Sports Club, Inc., 490 Central Street, and WK Investments, LLC, 201 Cabot Street. Both of licensees have vacated the premises. One had sold, the principal in the Lowell Sports Club had sold the building, being the owner of the property. Whether the club itself actually has any interest in acquiring a new premises at some point, I don't know.
And they were giving notice? They were given notice that their license could be revoked, or do we
No,
have?
yeah, no, that's
Oh,
why,
okay.
that's where I would like.
All right, I'll make a motion that we bring in those, notice them for, we're not gonna have enough time for the 14th, are we?
Well, it may not necessarily take much time to act on these matters, because I don't anticipate, I'm told through a
I
third.
mean notice, period. Do we have enough time to notice them?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah.
If I can mail it out by, if not tomorrow, certainly first thing Monday, I think within 10 days.
Oh, sure, then I'll make the motion that we bring them in for the next meeting.
Just for revoke, and
To revoke.
send a
to
proper
revoke.
notice.
Yes.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Do we have an interest in why the feds had a interest in TR Enterprises?
I think everything boils down to taxes. I think that's what it's all about.
Taxes. It's not the Marshal Service. It's not the
I don't believe so. I
Castle
think it was
Hotel
a tax matter that may have had some bearing on what happened with either be the Internal Revenue Service.
Okay.
Might have had some issue with that.
How about 74 Middlesex Street? Can we,
In speaking with an attorney representing the licensee, Vanna Can, I think they can anticipate, suggested that they may anticipate having to come before the License Commission on the 14th to discuss their proposed business plan.
they're on the agenda for tonight, correct? So,
Well-
well, the communication is on the
Communication,
agenda.
and I just wanted to, get,
Is Michael Breeda here? Could we hear from you, Michael? Sure. Okay.
I'm Michael Breeder. I'm a member of the board of Jambra,
Yes.
and I have two fellow board members here with me tonight as well.
Okay. And just your concerns?
We really were looking for an update because the use that appears to be coming about was not the use that we understood was going to be for the building when the license was granted back, I think it was October of 2011.
Right.
And we have not been able to get any type of update from either the owner of the property or the tenant. And we're not saying that it's a good or a bad thing in terms of a nightclub being there, but we'd just like to know more about it and make sure that if it is a nightclub and the city, allows them to operate as that type of establishment, that they be a responsible neighbor to the, to the community and operate in an ethical manner.
Right. I mean, I guess my concern is I was driving down one day and all of a sudden there's a sign that says Crown Nightclub. And
Yes.
I was here in October of 2011 and that was not the representation that was made to us.
Right.
And, you can go. And I know you were here in October because I
Thank
made a
you.
comment about the parking and you said, don't worry about the parking, come on down, we got plenty of spots.
Thank you. And my name is Karen Bell. I am an owner of the property on 80 Middlesex Street, right next to 74. I came and spoke in October for Vanek and for his proposal and for his being granted a license. I spoke for him because I had had dealings with him as a neighbor over the previous year. And his proposal was for a sports club, which also would then, on occasion, work certain small parties that were catered, would not have food on the premises, et cetera. And as he went forward, he ran into some serious financial problems and demands that were put upon him by the city for certain structural changes, and I believe had money difficulties, at which point it seems that he has invited others in to the process. My concern is that his license is being given to Vanek, and I have great faith in Vanek, but when you start entering other people into a process and then suddenly the building permit is not for a sports club, it ends up being for a nightclub, and the city then has him put in 6 female bathrooms. That's saying to me, you know, what is going to be happening? Facebook is stating a dance club, and we know some of the attendant problems that we've had in the city, and I think as a neighborhood group and as myself, as being right next to Vanek, our concern is that we make sure that everyone is satisfied as to the ownership, the management, and the person responsible going forward. That there is not an underlying misconception as to what will be going on in the premises. I did speak to Vanek this morning, and Vanek was assuring me that it was still a sports club, and yet there are other people in the premises saying it's a dance club. So I hope that the commission can possibly do some clarification, which would demand that the license stay within the purview of what was proposed to begin with as we go forward.
And he's requesting, we received a letter at the License Commission that he's requesting a change from the Khmer Sports Club to the Crown Sports Club. So, I think it's appropriate to have him in to answer these questions. So I'll make a motion that we bring him in on February 14th to answer.
I can't be here for 14th, I'm in Florida, but,
I think that's the appropriate course of action to.
Thank you.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know who's driven by, but it does say nightclub on the side, doesn't it?
Well, it did until today, and then he
until
removed
today?
it today.
Okay.
Yeah, so today it was changed just to say Crown.
Okay, the nightclub sign was taken down.
Nightclub
Yes.
sign was taken down, that's correct.
Yes?
It was actually changed like maybe 3 weeks ago, like 2 days after it was put up, it was changed.
Okay. I must have just happened to drive by on the day that it was. But if we get him in here on the 14th, I think he can address these questions and ease.
I think that all would be happy. I know that Vanek has also expressed, or today, this morning, expressed that he would consider joining the Neighborhood Business and Residents Association, which, at which point, I think we would also feel a lot more comfortable.
Absolutely. All right, I'll make a motion that he comes in on the 14th. All those in favor say aye. Aye, so moved. Have we hit all the other establishments on that list? Or was it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda?
The communications from Superintendent of Police, 2 letters that the License Commission had received last year, matters of which Commissioner Occasion is not able to sit on, to do with L&M Liquors, Inc., 424 Chelmsford Street, Leona M. Mendonca, manager, the all-alcoholic beverage package store licensee at 424 Chelmsford Street, alleged violation, sale of alcohol beverages to a person under 21 years of age, at 1 count, that was pertaining to a Lowell police compliance check, and a similar complaint against the DNY Corp., doing business as Jerry's Food Store, number 2, 207 University Avenue, Bhupendra Patel, manager, a malt beverage and wine-only package store licensee.
Another attorney in my office is going to handle those 2 hearings, and I know he is not available on February. If they notice it for the 14th, is that, would we?
Well, that's between
Well, it's
Commissioners
between these
Krieger
two.
and
But
Krieger.
I know he's not available on February 28th. That's all I'm gonna,
Mr. Delaney, what they want to do with these two complaints in particular, how they want to proceed with the notification of a hearing.
Okay. So the 28th is not available. And would the 14th be not enough time, or?
Certainly is sufficient time to send notice to have the two operators appear before the board at that time.
Okay.
okay.
Second?
I make a motion to put it on for the 14th.
Second.
So that's both L&M and DNY, correct?
Okay, so that's L&M and DNY.
Yep.
Then there are two additional complaints with respect to Bex Inc., doing business as Brian's Ivy Hall, 74 Merrimack Street. Kevin Hayhurst is the manager of record, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee. A report from the superintendent of police of a December 21, 2012 disturbance. And a second is a complaint against Brian's Ivy Hall. Report of January 1, 2013, where an altercation had taken place and allegedly the licensee had not reported the matter to the Lowell Police Department.
I'll make a motion that we put those on for the 28th of February. We have a lot of stuff on the 14th already, I believe, so, especially with the rules and regulations. So,
I second that.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And there is an application by Mariachi Foods, Inc., doing business as El Potro Mexican Grill, Joseph M. Carrillo Jr., a corporate director for the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant license for premises at 124 Merrimack Street, an unnumbered door on the south side of the building, first floor, one room for restaurant, kitchen, a storage area, and basement. There was a legal notice scheduled to be published in the local newspaper, Lowell Sun, on tomorrow morning, February 1st, on this particular application. The applicant is required to notify property owners, touches, abutters, and the church, school, or hospital within a 500-foot radius at 124 Merrimack Street. This, for those who may be interested, had been the prior site of Mr. Jalapeno, the premises that was known as Mr. Jalapeno. That license was not renewed for 2013. So this will be an application for a new license for all alcoholic beverage. In anticipation of the publication of the legal notice tomorrow, hearing would be scheduled for February the 14th in accordance with the...
Sure.
Okay.
We have to make a motion, or
Just want to ratify that?
ratify, yeah?
And then last is the application by the Sampea Mayas Hall, Inc. Kimile Mayam is the president for the transfer of the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant license presently issued, granted and issued to Sampea Mayas, Inc., Sethe Peo, president, premises at 450 Chelmsford Street, with 2 unnumbered doors west side, 3 unnumbered doors south side of building, first floor, 1 function hall, 11 rooms, approximately 10,968 square feet, a second floor with small offices, approximately 480 square feet. Again, this will be a legal notice for February 1st. Since it's a transfer and it doesn't change the description of the premises, it doesn't require that the applicant, in this case, would be Sampea Mayas Hall, Inc., notify abutters, property owners touching, and so it's just a publication for a hearing also for February 14th.
I have to recuse myself from that
Okay.
license also.
Do we need to make a motion for that one, or do we need to make a motion for that one? Or?
Just for ratification, if
Okay,
you will.
okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. And approve.
With that, I think we're all done. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved.